Good morning, I'm Michael Gable from Fairmont Equities, and these are our stock tips for Monday the 25th of July. Just be sure you're familiar with the disclaimer. Anything I say is general advice only. First company we're looking at here is Austal. Consensus target is at $1.41, so it is therefore quite cheap. The other point that I've noted is it is quite oversold down at these current levels, and momentum indicators are looking quite attractive. So if we have a look at the weekly chart here, what you'll notice is it got sold off quite heavily end of last year, early this year. It managed to bounce, but as it went to a new low, we've already had an increase here in the RSI. So this divergence should mean a bounce. This candle is looking quite bullish, so it got sold off, recovered pretty quickly, and since then price action has been holding up at the top end of that particular candle. So in my opinion, we're expecting a rally back up towards that $1.40 mark, which represents about 30% upside from current levels. Okay, the next interesting one here is Downer EDI. It is a bit more of a higher risk trade, mining services sector, plus the stock is looking a little bit expensive here. But like our Monadelphous tip from a week or two ago, which has gone on to do really well, there could still be further upside here for traders. What we've noticed with Downer EDI is that it has broken an inverse head and shoulders. Looking here on the weekly chart, so this is the head and shoulders, the inverse head and shoulders forming. The neckline's been broken. Now what you do with a head and shoulders pattern is you measure this distance here and you extrapolate out. So at the moment it's trading around $4. We can see targets potentially as high as $5 there. So about 25% upside for the traders. What you just need to do is just place your stops under here, because we don't want to see Downer dip back under that neckline anymore. All right, the next one that we need to keep an eye on is Adelaide Brighton. It's had a fantastic run up over the last few years, but it is looking pretty pricey here. The consensus target compared to where it is now means that it's about 12-13% overvalued. You have to bear in mind we're heading into reporting season in August. If companies don't report in line with expectations, or at least beat expectations, then we could see a fairly significant drop in their share prices. So Adelaide Brighton's had a fantastic run up, going a bit vertical leading into the August results. What I've noticed is last week's price action was a little bit negative here. Couldn't finish the week very strongly. We've got a bit of divergence already on the RSI on the weekly chart, and we're getting some sell signals starting to get triggered on the MACD as well. So I'd be taking profits here in Adelaide Brighton in expectation that it's going to have to come out with a cracking result in August to maintain this uptrend. If the stock does drop, what you'll notice is an uptrend line here closer to $5, and that's roughly where the stock's valued at. So that's where I'd expect the share price to fall to. Okay, the next one with Mirvac Group. So again, consensus targets are a little bit under where it's trading at the moment. At the moment, it's around that sort of 220 region. This is one that I was taking profits on at the end of last week for clients of ours at Fairmont Equities. It's looking overbought as well on the chart, and it's hitting resistance. So looking at the weekly chart here, you'll notice it's really run up quite strongly, going vertically, retesting this previous high and rejecting from it last week. Quite overbought on the chart, not necessarily giving us a sell signal in terms of the RSI, but it is quite overbought, and that price rejection last week and the overvalued nature of the stock again means I'm happy to be cautious, happy to take a profit and wait for those August results. And the final stock for today is REA Group. Like the last two, I've been taking profits on this one. Looks like it's getting a bit overbought, a bit expensive. The consensus target at $54.88. The share price is about 15% above that. Let's have a look at the weekly chart. So heading up vertically here, it did give us a sell signal on the RSI back here. Didn't pull back too much, managed to find support and pop higher, but once again, quite overbought. There's some support down here at $55, so potentially we could see a drop down there. That is where the consensus targets are. So again, unless they really shoot the lights out in August and really exceed expectations, I think this one's vulnerable. Happy to sell into the strength and wait for those August results. Well, that's it for my stock tips for this week. As always, head to the website, visit the blog, subscribe to some free research, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.